الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين. أما بعد, Allah SWT tells us in His glorious book in Surah Al-Ankabut, chapter 29, verse 5. بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. من كان يرجو لقاء الله فإن أجل الله لآت وهو السميع العليم. Whoever hopes for the meeting with Allah, Allah's appointed time is sure to come. He is the all-hearing, all-knowing. Now, Ajal Allah is the appointed time with Allah Ta'ala was explained by the commentators as the Day of Judgment. It's the day when every one of us gets to stand alone in front of Allah and present his deeds and be shown his deeds and face the consequences. It is the day when we get to answer for everything that we have done and said in this life. It is a day that we must prepare for. We must prepare an answer for every action we do. Prepare an answer to Allah. Why did you do it? Why did you not do it? Because we have to face the consequences of our actions. And on one point on the part, man kana yarju, whoever hopes for, brings a question to mind. We as human beings, what do we hope for? I mean, what's your biggest hopes in this life? Because there are ones who hope for wealth. That's their main focus. Amass as much money as you can. There are ones who hope for power and position. There are ones who hope for a nice car and a nice home. These are all hopes that we as human beings have. But a believer, first and foremost, hopes for that meeting with Allah. Works all of his life for that day. Because if you can get to that day and have your appointed meeting with Allah and you're in good standing, you've made it. You've won. You have eternity to enjoy. فَإِنَّ أَجَلَ اللَّهِ لَآتٍ. This meeting is sure to come. Just like death is sure to come. Death is just a portal to get you to the next stage. Because we were created to live forever. We don't die. We taste death, but we don't die. We live, and then after death we go, to the barzakh, and then on the day of judgment you go to heaven or wal'iyadu billah to hell. But you live forever. So we are all on this path that's sure to come. And if you notice it, it's like yesterday we started Ramadan last year. Before you know it, it was Eid. Now we're looking at another Ramadan coming. And time goes by so fast. And if you look back and say, I was 8 years old like yesterday. And before you know it, you're in your 50s, you're in your 60s. Time passes by very quickly. And while Allah says, فَإِنَّ أَجَلَ اللَّهِ لَآتٍ, anything that's moving towards something, it's going to eventually get there. We're eventually going to get there. We're on that road to Allah, and we will reach it at some point. So, since we are on this path, what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to purify our hearts, control our tongues, and do as much good deeds for the sake of Allah as we can. That's should be our main focus in this life. Not position, not wealth, not, maybe wealth for the purpose of spending it on Allah's cause. Okay, that's fine. But, we have to think about what's happening after death. Because anything you amass in this life, as soon as you die, it's gone. It's not yours, it's somebody else's. But your deeds, whatever you carry with you to the grave is your deeds. You never take a penny with you. Even the clothes that's on you, they'll probably take it off of you. So, each one of us has a choice on how we act in this life. You have the choice to be good or be bad. You have the choice to tell the truth or lie. You have the choice to cheat or be honest. You have the choice to treat others with compassion or be merciless. We have that option in this life, but you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay for it or be compensated for it depending on whether it's good or bad. So we have many choices in this life. And this life is a testing room. It's like we are in a test. If you've ever been in school, you are sitting in the test room, in the exam room. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is observing and the angels are recording. And at some point we will have to stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and answer for all of our actions. وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. Allah is all hearing, all knowing. If you say it, He hears it. If you think about it, He knows it. That's why those two names are there. Because Allah wa ta'ala knows your intention and knows your actions. Because some people do a good action, but their intention is not good. Their intention is to be known as, this person or that person. Allah wa ta'ala is Sami'un Alim. So, we cannot hide. We are an open book to Allah wa ta'ala. There is no escape. You cannot outsmart Allah. Allah wa ta'ala created us and knows everything that we think. Allah says, وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ. We're closer to every person than their jugular vein. So we must prepare our defense to present to Allah wa ta'ala, the one who knows the apparent and the hidden. That's a tough one. So that's what makes a believer toe the line. Not just do whatever they want to do. A true believer is restricted. Our hands are tied. Somebody does something bad to you, you're only permitted to return in like. You cannot, you got smacked once, you cannot smack twice. You're limited. You cannot just go with your instincts and do whatever you want. So we have to prepare our defense. How did we treat our family? How did we raise our children? How did we act at work? How did we interact with others? Did we introduce them to Islam? Did we chase them away from Islam with bad behavior? All of these we have to stand in front of Allah and answer for. We also have to answer for things we didn't do. Why didn't you do it? When somebody should have stood up for the truth and chickened out and just stayed quiet and let the evil people run amok, you'll be asked for, why did you not do anything? Why did you not say something? Another verse in Surah Al-Inshiqaq, chapter 84 and verse 6. Allah says, يَا أَيُّهَا الْإِنسَانُ إِنَّكَ كَادِحٌ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ كَدْحًا فَمُلَاقِيهِ. O humanity, indeed you are laboring restlessly towards your Lord and will eventually meet the consequences. Kadih comes from kadaha. Kadaha is laboring until exhaustion. You're just doing your utmost until you cannot do anymore. Anything we do in this life, it is eventually going to go in front of Allah. Kadihun ila rabbik. And you will meet Allah, or famulaqihi can refer to Allah or refer to the consequence of your action, or both. So anything that we do in this life, that we're laboring to get money, to do this, to get this position, to get this education, all of the stuff that we labor in this life, we will see it in front of Allah. We will see the consequences of it in front of Allah. Because there is exertion for sin. People exert themselves chasing after lust, after their desires, after evil stuff. But exertion should be for Allah's sake, because we want the good consequence of our actions. So a believer, unlike a non-believer, somebody who doesn't believe in the hereafter, treats this life as a place to enjoy. They want luxury. They want the best cars, the best homes, the best food, rest. They want to rest. They don't want to, they want to go on vacation. They want their life to be one long vacation. That's what people who don't believe in the hereafter think. But a believer knows the nature of this life, that this life is meant to be difficult by design. A believer does not just get comfortable in this life. It's like if you're traveling from state to state and you go by a rest area. Do you start building when you get to the rest area? You don't sit there and build a house and mansion and stuff. You go in there, do whatever you need to do, go eat, go to the bathroom, whatever you need to do, fill up the car, and you move on. That's how a believer is supposed to be in this life. So whatever we do, if it means you're not having a lot of rest, you're always having to strive, to act, to have difficulties, that's the nature of this life. And if you understand it from the beginning, then life makes sense. That enjoyment is in the hereafter. Enjoyment is, you may get some of it in this life, but the true enjoyment is deferred to the hereafter. You labor for the sake of Allah, you'll get the reward, and the better reward depending on how much you labor. So the verse I mentioned at the beginning, وَمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو لِقَاءَ اللَّهِ, the second verse in Surah Al-Ankabut in verse 6, Allah gives us an answer, gives us an idea of how do we prepare for this meeting with Allah that is sure to happen. Allah says, وَمَنْ جَاهَدَ فَإِنَّمَا يُجَاهِدُ لِنَفْسِهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَغَنِيٌّ عَنِ الْعَالَمِينَ. And whoever strives in Allah's cause only does so for their own good. Surely Allah is not in need of any of His creation. So any striving, any good deed we do, any effort we put in there to get Allah's pleasure, we're not doing it for Allah. We're doing it for Allah's sake, but Allah doesn't get anything out of it. He doesn't need us. He doesn't need our good action. We are the beneficiary of whatever we do. And we have to understand that. You're not doing anyone a favor by being good. You're doing yourself a favor. So our striving is for our own good. And this life is not meant to be easy. This life is a jihad from the time that you are an adult till the time you leave this world. It's a constant jihad. And jihad has many meanings. It's exertion. And that's the nature of this life. Our existence in it, while we're alive, there is no rest. Rest is when Allah says, Ya Abdi, I approve of you, enter my heaven. That's when rest is. That's when happiness is supposed to be. While we are in this life, we should expect difficulty. We should expect, it's not supposed to be an easy going through this life. So the jihad, the time, effort, wealth, expertise, patience, enduring difficulties, they're all part of this life. We make jihad to fight the enemies. We make jihad to restrain our desires and stay on the path that Allah has put. We exert effort in fighting the evil whispers of the devils of men and jinn. We put effort to spend in Allah's cause, to spend with our lives, with our expertise, with our money, with whatever we have, we put it in Allah's service. That requires jihad, because yourself wants to rest. But you make jihad against yourself to force it to do the right thing so you can enjoy it in the hereafter. So we make the effort to be steadfast on acts of worship. Getting up at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock to pray Fajr, it takes jihad. Because, especially in winter, you're all bundled up, it's nice and warm. You don't want to get off from those blankets, but you say, no, I want to please Allah. I want the reward of the hereafter. You get up and you wash with cold water and you stand up and pray. That's jihad. You're fighting yourself. Because the devil is telling you, stay asleep, and they're singing you a lullaby. So we have to exert effort to seek knowledge that shows us how we're supposed to act in this life, to show us the true nature of this life. What are we doing in this life? Where are we going? What are we supposed to be doing? That knowledge is essential for us to get. And that requires jihad, to find the time we don't do this stuff in extra time. That should be your prime time, not your extra time, if you have any in the day. So true rest and enjoyment are only in paradise when we meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So man kana yarju liqa Allah fa inna ajal Allah la'atin. We must strive and endure difficulties in this life in this hope of meeting Allah while being in good standing. We should strive in our supplication to Allah and ask for His help. We should strive in purifying our hearts and our tongues, our ears, our faculties. And we should strive to do as much good deeds as we can. And we must prepare for this promised meeting with Allah, because it is sure to happen. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لكم فاستغفروه إنه الغفور الرحيم.